Microsoft are an example of a company that do their R&D on the fly. So they'll release a sort of semi-baked product, there'll be a load of glitches, and then they'll sort that out. If you're Boeing or you're Airbus, you can't do that. You've got to be absolutely right. And the way these guys do it is that there's a massive learning from the errors that they make, and these are recorded in these black boxes. And he was talking in the beginning of this book. He's talking about in the US, there's a flight investigator whose wife is on the operating table at a hospital having a fairly minor operation, which turns tragically wrong. It's a tragic story. I mean, she ends up dying. And afterwards, he can't understand why the hospital are kind of covering this up, because obviously, hospitals, they don't have this black box thinking generally. Generally, they're running from litigation. They're kind of very, very afraid of that, the impact of that. And the impact of that on the industry is that, and then this is the figure quoted in the book, is that if the airline industry suffered the same level of failure as the medical industry, in America alone, you'd have 2 747s a day falling out of the sky. Literally, nobody would fly. Literally, nobody would get on an airplane ever again if that happened. But in hospitals, they kind of get away with it, and it's kind of it's the industry's inability to learn from its fuck ups, which is creating that. And the airline industry, famously, is I think not last year, but the previous year, there was literally no fatalities on commercial airplanes. And most fatalities now happen because of and something new happens, isn't there? I mean, 9/11 was something that new happened, and then they created a series of preventative measures, like passengers couldn't go on the flight deck anymore, and then you got pilot suicide now. I think is the major thing. So they have to 2 pilots always have to be a backup of a flight steward or something. Never leave one guy on the flight deck on their own. Each time they're learning, and it becomes more and more robust as a process. And every industry, every business leader needs to understand that if you're not prepared to fess up to and learn from your fuck ups, then you're basically fucked.